Hello, friends, and welcome back to the OGN update. For today, we'll be taking a look at some of the things that happened in the last 24 hours for OGN. Because as you know, once we take a look at BTC, we talked about how the altcoins and the projects that we are in tend to follow the trend for Bitcoin. And surprisingly, we are under 40,000 right now for Bitcoin, which is not very well, to be honest. This is not some great news. We see Bitcoin here. I'm just gonna be taking a look at Bitcoin real quick, and then we'll talk about OGN. But we know that Bitcoin also rallied down to about 37,600 on April 27th. So on April 29th, we may be heading to that price point at that time to become oversold as well before we see a bounce back from maybe 38,200 and also 37,712. So until we see a bounce back for Bitcoin, we could see OGN potentially also decreasing a little bit, because as you can see here from previous updates, we know that there was a very crucial level of support at about 0.50, and this level was very crucial because as you can see here, when we do zoom in, we can see that this level was tested several times. We saw a big rejection, as you can see here. When we were in the downtrend, you can see this downtrend here. We broke out of that downtrend before creating a resistance level at about 0.56. And if you zoom in and also take a look at the previous video, I stated that I want to see a price for OGN to hopefully break out of this level. We see that this level here, and we talked about it from the previous video, 0.5396. We saw this big rejection wick here happening, and then we saw some consolidation happening here, okay? So if you do zoom in, we can see that this price here saw a big rejection. We tested back at the levels of support again, which indicated to us that this level was very crucial. And we saw the big rejection here, came back, rejected the levels that we had before at the recent highs that we had of 0.53. You see this big rejection wicks indicating to us now that price couldn't sustain that level. And when we saw this big wicks here of bearish momentum, and right underneath the levels of support, we broke the levels of support, as you can see here. We tested the levels of resistance now that we had before. So you see how we broke the levels here of recent support we had on April 28th, retested back again that level of support, as you can see here, exactly retesting it, because we could see closing wicks retested that level. We saw here some bearish momentum happening, and we saw also a lot of rejections. You can see the rejections happening at 0.51 at the levels of support that we had before, guys. So we knew that exactly price was going to go down, and also with the trend of Bitcoin, we knew that this was also another indication that we were going to go down. We can see that we are overall overextending in the RSI as well. But please keep in mind that I always talk about we are still very underneath the 50 MA, and now there's a big gap here, guys. So please be cautious of that. There's a big gap right now, and the difference between where price is at and also the 50 MA. So until we see a little bit of a bounce back, you see how we had a bounce back here, and the gaps weren't as much for the 50 MA and also the levels of resistance that we had. I want to see some continuation happening here, where we are oversold right now in the RSI. So I want to see price come back at 0.49, also touching back here at 0.49, and depending on how we react from there, hopefully we can, since we are down about 8% right now, and we are still going down. So hopefully if we can touch back on this level here, since we know that this is a very crucial level of resistance right now for OGN at 0.49, 0.50, since we saw rejections happen. So depending on if we can bounce back from the RSI level that we have here, touch back on the levels that we have here on the recent resistance at 0.49, hopefully break out of that level. If Bitcoin rallies back up to 40,000, hopefully break out of this level here, touch back the levels of resistance that we had here before creating a support at 0.49, and then potentially hopefully coming back to the levels of recent support that we had before at 0.50, and which would indicate to us that there is a strong momentum happening for OGN. But also keep in mind that the levels of support, since we broke levels of structures that we saw before, we can see that 0.47 is where we are right now. Right underneath that level, we can see that this is where the bullish momentum happened, and we came back, touched back the levels of support that we had at the 15 May at 0.51. So this level was very crucial, guys, because this is where we saw the bullish momentum happening. So this level right now is a little bit there. Okay, so we can see that price is at 0.4843. So depending on how we react from this level, right underneath there, you can see that there's a little bit of gap here, and the price hasn't touched that level yet. So depending on how we react from this level, at right underneath the levels of support that we have, you can see rejections happening here at 0.4760, not exactly at about 0.4709. So depending on if we go down a little bit here, and depending on how we react from this level, hopefully we can create a support level here. But if we break this level of recent support that we have right now and retest back at 0.47, expect that we could come back to 0.45, where there's another crucial level of support for us right underneath there. As you can see, 0.45 is another very crucial level for us, and this would mean that we are very overextended from the 50 MA as well, guys. So please be cautious of that. If we retrace back to here to about 0.45. Hopefully we don't touch back on these levels here again, but this can be a possibility if Bitcoin still rallies back down. So please be cautious of that. Let's see how price reacts in the next coming days at the 0.47 and also 0.45. And depending on if we see some bullish momentum occurring right after, this would indicate that there's a reversal that's going to happen. And hopefully we could touch back on the levels of resistance that we have at 0.49 and also the levels of 0.50. So just a quick update on OGN, guys. Let's relax. I hope you are having a great day today, and be positive. Okay, everything's gonna work out in the future. This is just a short-term failure that we see right now, but everything's gonna work out. And I hope you are having a great day and stay blessed.